It is a bright, beautiful, and sunny day near East Talladega, Alabama in Talladega County, where NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is heading out onto the track for its first of 2 practice sessions today. With the impound formula, 2 practices today, including final practice and qualifying tomorrow. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip with you once again here at Talladega. Darrell, the good news is you come out here and you get to run flat out. The bad news is you get out here and you have to run flat out.
Yeah, and really and truly, these single car runs that we're going to be seeing most of the day, they're easy. You could go out there and run 190 mile an hour around this place. Larry could even do it.
Maybe.
But
we need to talk.
I mean, it really is. This is a great big wide racetrack with huge sweeping corners. So if you can drive 95 or 100 on the interstate, you can run 190 around here, I promise you. So it's easy to go by yourself. It's when we get here on Sunday that it gets all combobulated.
Well, we're going to have a mix of single car runs and drafting practice for the cars in the top 35 that are locked into the show. But we just heard Bob Dillner interviewing Richard Childress, and Larry, from a crew chief's perspective, a lot of big news, 1 crew chief change and 1 major change at RCR announced today.
Well, I'm really not surprised, Mike. We're almost a fourth of the way through this 2009 season. In our sport, especially with the dollars that's being spent today, it's about performance. And I think Richard Childress, who I worked for 4 years, who I was a part of a crew chief change he made in 1998, you know, he could see, he's a people person, he could see that for some reason these 2 race teams were not clicking. Let's don't wait to the end of the season. Let's don't wait to the middle of the season. Let's go ahead now, like you heard Bob Dillner say, while those 2 teams maybe still have a chance to rebound and make the chase, let's go ahead and make this swap right now and get them back on track. But I think we're going to see a lot more changes within teams, say, between now and Lowe's Motor Speedway in a few weeks, because, again, if you're not performing, it's probably not going to get any better unless you make a change.
All right, so the Kevin Harvick and Casey Mears teams have swapped everything but the spotter?
Well, that's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick, the spotter, and the sponsorship, Shell Pennzoil, is swapping with Casey Mears, Jimmy Kitchens, and the sponsor over there, Jack Daniels. The teams, the cars, the transporters, those things are staying together.
And then over at Hall of Fame Racing, they have a new crew chief for Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, Ben Leslie, that actually started the season with Travis Quapple. Now, Todd Parrott is still there. He's director of competition. But, you know, the amazing thing, Darrell, about Todd Berrier and Kevin Harvick is we look at Casey Mears. Now, that's who Todd Berrier will be working with starting at Richmond. That's a driver and a crew chief that's been together for a long time. They won a Nationwide Series championship together. They won Indy. They won Daytona. But I think this car, as you put it, is so fickle that it will pull you apart if you can't figure out what the package your driver and you're looking for with it.
Yeah, it's a car that it takes such minor changes make huge differences in this car, and sometimes just that communication between the crew chief and the driver, sometimes it's just not there.
One other team that was rumored to be in a crew chief shakeup mill was the number 5, but Matt Yoakum, I'll bet last week's trip to Victory Lane put paid to those rumors for a while.
Mike, that win was huge for Mark Martin, Alan Gustafson, the entire 5 team at Hendrick Motorsports. And Hendrick Motorsports comes into Talladega on the heels of 3 straight wins. Mark Martin would like to make it 4. His last win here at Talladega, it was the caution-free event back in 1997. Same race car they had at Daytona for the 500. Rain did not allow them to really showcase how good of a piece they really had at Daytona. Looking for better things here at Talladega. Mark also said, this is my first COT, Car of Today race here at Talladega. He said Alan's not really sure how much they're going to run 2 practice sessions today. They may only run just the first one. Chris Devoda?
Well, after finishing, being a bridesmaid at this track 6 times, finishing second 6 times, what could possibly be better for Tony Stewart than finally going to Victory Lane here in the fall? How about winning as an owner and a driver? He is getting very close. In the last 3 weeks, Tony Stewart has a 4th place, a 3rd place, and a runner-up finish. He is so close. What was he doing right before taking his car out on the track? He was joking around with some of his racing friends and idols, Morgan Shepherd and Red Farmer. Red Farmer and Tony Stewart obviously probably talking a little bit about the prelude to the dream coming up on dirt in June, just making the announcement that the proceeds will benefit for military charities. But right now, it's not the dirt that Tony Stewart's worried about, it's the draft.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. They're not playing around out there, boys. I tell you, Tony Stewart, I thought he was going to take out
Kyle. It was Kyle Busch.
It was Kyle, yeah. Look at this. Down on the apron, down below the yellow line, and back up in the racetrack.
Get you some of that.
You remember I told you and Larry could drive around here by yourselves? This is when it gets touchy right here.
Well, look, now see the double yellow line. That's out of bounds at Daytona and Talladega. If this was in the race, Tony would have to back up and blend in.
Now look at the push that Tony's getting from the 11 car. Just shoves him up in there, Darryl.
4 wide, 3 wide.
You know, and what's amazing about that, not only did Tony Stewart, I mean, he's on the apron, but Kyle Busch, I mean, that could have been a huge crash right here in the first laps of practice.
With a lot of cars involved.
It just tells you how stable these cars are and what a great bunch of drivers this is, because this is when drivers are at a primo right here.
Now, folks, I know you thought you tuned in to see the usual, not so exciting single car pre-qualifying practice at Talladega, and you will. The cars that are lined up here are cars that must get into the race on time. They are waiting their opportunity for a clean track to make mock qualifying runs. But that group headed off into turn number 1. They know they're in the race, so they're in full scoop boogie mode right now.
Yes, they are. Straight out of the garage area.
It's fun to watch. Wow. Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice brought to you by True Value, the tools, products, and expert advice for all your project needs. True Value. Start right, start here. And by KFC. Stop on Monday, April 27th for a free piece of new Kentucky grilled chicken.
No let up here.
Not at all.
I'll tell you.
Ryan Newman backed out of this, and so did Dale Jr., but the rest of them are still going at it. 3 wide.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, he just got into the back of his teammate, Jeff Gordon, in that 24. There was just nowhere for him to go. They just started stacking up at the end of the backstretch.
Well, one thing they know about this car after racing a couple of times at Daytona and Talladega is that big fat square bumper on the front of these cars lines up perfectly with the big fat square bumper on the back of these cars. You can knock the fire out of a guy and not spin him out and really shoot him to the front, just like we saw looks like, I thought the 44 was getting ready to give Jeff Gordon in the 24 car there, the yellow car, Pepsi Challenger car, a boot in the back, but he backed off and gave him a little room.
And we got a lot of new paint schemes to show you today, and we will as we cycle through this and the next hour of practice. There's one of them, A.J. Allmendinger, carrying the Hunt Brothers pizza colors for the first time. And you mentioned Jeff Gordon. Where have I seen that paint scheme before? On the 24?
I'm probably the only guy here that recognizes that car all the way around the racetrack. I know exactly where he is.
What year did you have that scheme, Darryl?
That was 1983 we ran that car. And, you know, I drove for Pepsi for 3 years. I drove 2 years for the Mountain Dew car, 1 year with the Pepsi Challenger. Won 30 races, 2 championships, and second in the third championship. Had a great run, and it's really exciting for an old guy like me to see a car that you drove or a paint job that you drove out there on the racetrack. That means a lot.
You've seen several of your paint schemes out there on the racetrack the last couple of years.
Yeah, Dale Jr. had the Mountain Dew car at Darlington last year, and that was exciting. Jeff, what's really exciting about this is I talked to Jeff this morning, and he's actually really pumped up about the car, how it looks, and good chance he could get his 83rd win here.
Which would put him one win behind DW and Bobby Allison.
Would tie him with Cale, and then next race he'd tie him with Bobby and I, and then the next race he'd be third all by himself.
Now, most of these guys, they've been out there since this practice started. Most of them are coming to complete lap 12 or lap 13. Now, a full fuel run here is about 40 to 42 laps. So I guess if I'm a crew chief in the garage area right now, what I would like to see right now in the heat of the day, which is when we're going to be racing on Sunday, maybe about a 20 to 25 lap run. If everything's good, if everything looks good, you know what? We may just sit tight till the final practice coming up here later.
Yeah, I think these guys, you know, this is kind of get the cobwebs out and get accustomed to being in this tight pack like this, running close together, cars inside, outside, front, back. Get you comfortable with what you got and then work on maybe a qualifying setup package.
Another different scheme and third different major sponsor this year for Kyle Busch is number 18 Pedigree Dog Food this week, but that dog will hunt.
That dog will hunt, and not that when I say qualifying package, it's not like you can do a whole lot of stuff at an impound race, but they will do a little bit of, you know, tape and whatnot for qualifying.
Krista, where's Kyle and Joey Logano's teammate?
Well, Mike, Denny Hamlin is in the garage. He's been in here for a little while. I just talked with Denny as you see him. He's up at the car kind of checking things out. He said they had a little bit of a hint of overheating. The motor started to get hot. He said as soon as that happens, especially here, you have to bring it in. He was talking about the motor, how fickle and how sensitive it is here. So he said they didn't want to take any chances. As soon as that temperature started to spike, Denny came into the garage.
Well, I'd have to think long and hard, and I can check on this. This may be the warmest it's ever been here since we've been racing this new car. So if you try to run the same tape that you did at Daytona or here a year ago, there's a good chance you're going to be running a little warm.
And Larry, you know, tape's about the best tuning tool you got here. The more you can run on the grill, the faster you'll go. So you push that right to the limit. And what you don't know is, and what these guys are learning right now, is how much to put on there when I'm up in this 3 wide, 6-8 deep traffic. How's that going to affect the cooling of the car? Good thing they paved that back there.
I think the Pepsi Challenger said, I've had enough.
I'm done with this challenge.